Now, let's talk about the tragedy of Dave Rubin, the fool. Okay? Dave Rubin, long ago, in the mists of the past, okay, decided it would be a good idea on TYT, a leftist news network, to basically explain that he had no idea what was wrong with schools full of children being bombed. A lot of you will probably, legit confused why that was bad. Well, watch the segment for yourself.
Question is this, how many Hamas members must hide in a school here in LA for us to bomb that school? How many? I don't think we bombed that school under any circumstance here in the US. So if we had 100 Hamas members hiding at my kid's school and they were firing rockets from my kid's school into Beverlywood, you think the US government would bomb that school? They would not bomb that school. And I would fight like hell for them to not bomb that school, even if my kids were killed by the people who were sending those bombs from that school. Bombing schools is just wrong, period. Whether they have human shields or not. And it makes me so sad to see so many good people make these ridiculous mental gymnastics to somehow justify that. That is wrong. If we can't get agreement on that, then we can't agree on the 67 borders or anything else. We have to say Israel is absolutely and categorically wrong to bomb hospitals and bomb schools.
I don't have my glasses.
And you can't just say, well, Hamas is making us do it.
And I'm not getting up because I might not
you don't believe it. You don't. You're too good and too smart to believe that, okay? There is under no circumstances, I don't care how many Hamas members are at a school in the US, would we bomb that school? We bombed the school because it's full of Palestinians. That's why we bombed them. In Gaza.
You think the United States, maybe I'm not catching what you're throwing here. You don't think the United States, if there was a group of Al-Qaeda terrorists that were shooting rockets towards your house, 10 miles away, 15 miles away, you wouldn't want them to bomb that place as they were shooting rockets at your house and possibly digging tunnels under your...
Gee, Dave, which is more important? Your personal property or the lives of children?
I would fight like hell for that to not happen if that school was full of children.
The hypothetical that Steve is trying to make here is related to Dave Rubin being supportive of Israel bombing Palestinian schools.
Children.
And let me tell you,
it's terrible. Let me draw it's terrible. I'm not defending it. It's horrible.
And killing children, by the way.
It's horrible.
No, Dave, you are refusing to say that it's wrong. That Israel is taking an action that is categorically wrong in bombing those schools. That is wrong.
It's a war crime. You can't. That's murder. That's not war.
Well, oh God, the only time Jimmy Dore had a good take.
It's not war, Dave. You keep saying war is horrible. That's not war. That's murder on purpose. Those people don't have defense. The UN guy called the Israeli army, begged them to let the people leave that building who were seeking shelter. They said no, they killed them. That's murder. Dave, that's not war. That's not, and I understand that Hamas is probably wrong, right? But still, I'm not saying that Hamas is right or Israel's right or how to solve this conflict. I'm saying that tactic is a war crime. It's murder. It doesn't solve problems. It makes things worse, and you shouldn't defend 100%. It because you kind of are.
I don't know.
Wait, what happened to Steve-O, Metal Kitty Mom? Is he not on TYT anymore?
That I'm defending it as much as I think it's easy for all of us to sit here and tell a country under attack what to do.
Yes, it's very easy for me to tell people not to kill children in a school that with a blue UN flag over it.
Let me say it.
Really easy. It doesn't take any thought.
You might have a more difficult time.
If you have to think about that, I say, what's wrong with
Jimmy,
you?
come on. You might have a more difficult time discussing that if it was your family that was being attacked.
No, that's not right, Dave. Okay? If my family were murdered by Hamas, and they wanted to murder me too, but they're holed up in a school, I wouldn't want to bomb that school. I would just not want to bomb that school. And I don't believe you would either.
Nice intellectual exercise about what we would do in a theoretical situation.
Wouldn't. I would not bomb a school with several hundred kids.
Yeah, Dave Rubin here is making an appeal to well, wouldn't you be mad if they killed your kids? And it's yeah. But that's probably why we shouldn't use vengeance as a method of discerning policy, okay? probably shouldn't use blind rage as a method for making international scale decisions. Good night, Fanta Clausy.
Who didn't kill my kids?
All right,
that's
so
not
let me,
them.
I understand everybody. Let me end on a couple notes here. One, let's understand that the schools are not being used as schools right now. They're used for
Ricky.
refugees who are innocent. Okay, they're not all kids. They're their families in there. I don't think it makes it any better, but just I want to be clear on that.
And they found rockets in the schools, and the UN has admitted there's video of it.
No. They found rockets in empty UN buildings. They have never found a rocket in ones that were actually bombed.
I thought there were no empty buildings because they need all the buildings. I mean,
No. I mean, I read that maybe the organization, the news organization that reported that could be wrong, but my reading of that from several sources was the UN turned in rockets that they found
Jenk, bold of you to assume that Dave Rubin can read.
in empty buildings of theirs. They said we didn't do this. And by the way, they turn it into Hamas. They say they don't know who to turn it into, right? So I understand your point. But the ones that got bombed did not have missiles in them. Okay, so there's never been any report of that. So, but look, let's keep it real because it is real. It's not
Hey,
theoretical.
Andy from Ohio.
If there were, in Steve's scenario, if they were firing Hamas, Al Qaeda, whoever was firing from Mexico, and they were firing it from a Mexican school, America would bomb that school. Okay, as long as there was Mexican kids in it. If there were American kids in that school, America would not bomb that school. You know it, everybody knows it, okay? Now, it doesn't make what America does right. No, it would be just as reprehensible, and I would agree with Jimmy and Steve and everybody who's mad at it. Like, don't kill those Mexican kids, even if those rockets are coming towards my family.
Steve-O owns a restaurant now? That's cool as hell.
Right?
Good for him.
Now, in this situation, I know, everybody knows that if inside that UN-protected school, which is for refugees, okay, you had Israelis, you know that Israel would not bomb it.
yes, war sucks.
Right. So they're saying we are willing to bomb that refugee building because there's Palestinians in there and not Israelis, and we don't care as much about them.
True. So this was basically the beginning of Dave Rubin's downfall. Dave Rubin really didn't have the intellectual capacity to understand a lot of the points that are being made here. To put this situation in the dumbest possible terms, Hamas taking a bunch of kids hostage, and your solution is to blow up the kids and Hamas, is like John McClane at the end of Die Hard killing Hans Gruber and Holly Gennaro. Nah, sorry. Come on. No, we all know that's really fucked up. You don't just kill a hostage because a bad person took them. To put it in the simplest possible terms. And of course, after this, Dave Rubin went on with a number of people like Larry Elder, and came away from conversations with them being like, wow, this Larry Elder guy has a lot of real high level ideas. And so it's not that surprising, right, that eventually Dave Rubin turned coat. And he did it for a higher paycheck, and he did it so that he could make some notoriety and write about how not all gays are leftists or whatever. It's a good grift. But it gets worse, of course. Because now we have Dave Rubin, fast forward several years. We have Dave Rubin making PragerU videos and announcing that he and his husband are about to have babies. Now, let's see just a snippet of the reaction to this news, okay? This is a pretty well put together video. Larry Elder can fuck off any day now, yeah. Well, hopefully the last we heard of him is his failed gubernatorial race.
Go talk to some. They do exist, and they do things like watch movies, travel, and eat ethnic food. Regular people things. You know what I found out? The right, much more than the left, believes in the notion of live and let live. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the true definition of tolerance.
Why you twisted lovers, me and you. A deal of matchless value. I was always quick to admit empty statements of bones and meat. And my heart shook with fear. I'm a coward behind a shield and spear. Take this sword and throw it far. Let it shine under the morning star. Are you right to me? I am the Antichrist. For you, the sky into the last place. One for my heart, two for sure. Three.
You know, regular people things.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave. Conservatives are so much more accepting of queer people. Yes, so much for the tolerant right. They literally used you as a prop, Dave, and you just were like, "Sure thing, boss. Can I do the gay equivalent of a minstrel show for you while I'm at it?" And Glenn Beck was just like, "Could you? That'd be amazing." I would be sad if it wasn't so hilarious. Yeah, you know, I'd be sad if it was to anyone other than Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin is just such a massive piece of shit. You know, and it's like... It's not like no one could have seen this coming, right? This is the equivalent of, like, Dave Rubin stepping out onto, like, a road, the loneliest stretch of highway in existence in America, where you can just see the horizon line, you know, and just staring down it. And, like, for years, there is a truck with its high beams on, and you can see it for a good 2 hours. And he's just standing there looking at it. And finally, he got hit by the truck. Yeah, he is evil, and it's not like it. I would have sympathy for him were this not so obviously self-inflicted. You know? Like, I'm sorry, you expected, like, the fucking people who align with Ben Shapiro to be happy that you're having kids, Dave? Like, holy shit. Here. We got another clip, all right? We got another clip of the tolerance of the conservative movement.
Shapiro, will you bake Rubin a wedding cake? Okay, so, I mean, my answer is...
Well, I'm married already.
Right, he's married already.
But an anniversary, it was my anniversary last week. An anniversary cake would have been nice.
Right, so the answer is no. And the reason I won't is because as a religious Jew, I do not participate in activities that I believe are sinful. But again, we live in a free country, and Dave knows this. He doesn't have to care what I think about sin. And as long as I'm not bothering Dave, I don't see why it's a problem. Yeah. So will I?
As long as I'm not bothering Dave, I don't see why it's a problem. Well, you can see from the large scale, the multiple minute clip I just showed you of other people making it Dave Rubin's problem, that people who believe the same things Ben Shapiro do are more than willing to make it your problem that you are gay.
Does Dave have a husband? Yeah. I mean, like, okay. And are we friends? Yeah. And are we going to go out to dinner sometime in the near future? Yeah. But there's a difference between me just being friends with Dave and me actively participating in an event that I feel is religiously sinful. And I think this is how most religious Christians and most religious Jews feel. And while that's awkward, we're still friends in spite of it, which is why we're friends. If we couldn't be friends in spite of it, then it would be a bad thing.
Yeah, no, like, Ben, people in the conservative movement will literally call for the deaths of gay people. Like that's fairly common. We saw it we saw it towards Dave Rubin, the most conservative friendly content creator who is gay. Hey, Epic Sharky, what up? Let's see. Hey, Slash. Gatsby Cat 22, thank you for resubscribing. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's... yep, lots of calls for his death. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Look, when I did your interview show, which, by the way, I mean, yeah, you jacked the idea of an interview show from me. It's all right, but nobody had done it before me. But what you said that to me, and I truly mean this.
Yeah, I still have a sense
if
of
you
taste.
think what I'm doing is sinful, like I don't, it sounds glib, but I don't care.
Right, and this is my view: is you don't have to care, right? It's a free country,
like that's.
Yeah, but the issue is, other people care, and other people have literally lynched gay people. So, like, it's kind of a widespread problem, really.
The thing, and it's like, look. There's,
I should be okay,
of course,
Gatsby
someone's
Cat.
going to go, well, wait a minute. If you really
But the real grift is making you all feel very sorry for me, so you donate subs, bits, and use !tip in chat to support me, so that if I need to take a day off, I can without feeling stupidly guilty.
think his marriage is sinful or something, of course there may be a place that in the nature of our friendship, maybe that we can't quite get to, that I would be
exactly,
able to get to with someone that didn't think
For
that.
sure.
That is very possible.
The stack of bodies behind conservatives who disagree with gay people existing is very large. Very, very large. Don't forget, they holocausted us too, okay? They threw us into death camps. They fucking did that. And you know what? This is a thing that a lot of people don't know. Because conservatism still had a large hold on Europe after World War II, many people that had been put into death camps with pink triangles on their uniforms, they were then institutionalized or put into prison after getting let out of death camps. They jailed some people up until the 1970s or 80s. Because they were gay, and it was still illegal to be gay in many European countries. But yeah, continue telling me how there's it's all live and let live for conservatives.
And it goes both ways, right? Like, I then look at you and I go, well, why?
Right,
like,
if you adopt a kid, you don't want me teaching your kid about the nature of family, perhaps, right? I mean, like
possibly, but you're probably a pretty good dad. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you're probably a pretty good dad, but you would also probably tell my kids that, I don't know, they shouldn't have two dads. Like, I don't, you know, I'm very curious to see if Dave Rubin ever sends his kids to hang out with Ben Shapiro. I'm very curious about this.
Why is it that we're able to do this and most people can't do this?
Because
that's what I'm curious about.
We go home at night and we can have our own lives. I mean, that's really, and I think part of friendship, by the way, is that. Like, we go home at night and we just have our own lives.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not married to you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's, like, my wife and I have to agree on these issues. You and I don't have to agree.
Yeah, like, it was still a crime to be gay in the United States in the year 2000. Like, it wasn't until, like, what, 2008, where, like, same-sex relations became decriminalized in the United States?
Agree on these issues in order for us to share a common space together. And
Well, 2015 was allowing gay marriage, but, like, it's literally less than, like, 20 years gay people just existing publicly has been legal.
That's really the important
thing. Do you
thing
think your wife and you have to agree on all of these issues, or just the sort of more foundational ones?
The foundational ones. But I do think that, you know, how you raise your kids religiously and with regard to things like sexual morality does actually have to be at the root of how you teach your kids.
Like, imagine what is going through Dave Rubin's head right now as Ben Shapiro just, like, explains to him to his face how goddamn degenerate and fucking disgusting he finds Dave Rubin.
Yeah.
So if you have deep if you have deep divisions with your spouse on these issues, I think that, and you're looking to build a family anyway, then I think that these are issues where building on a bad foundation is a bad move.
So so if you wouldn't bake me a cake, that's okay. And now, because it's 50-50, I can't bake you a cake, which David's an incredible chef, and he would have done it kosher, the whole thing, man.
Now I feel bad.
He would have done it for you.
Damn, now I feel bad for my bigotry. I could have gotten a cake.
I mean, this close.
Putting that aside, you can't have David's kosher cake now.
I refuse to get sleep until we get 200 subs.
If we were having an anniversary party, would you come? If I was inviting all the crew that we all know, and we were just an anniversary party, we're just having a party, and I'll even throw in some kosher food for you to make sure you don't have to bring your own food.
You know, honestly, I'd have to think about it. In the same way.
So that's interesting to me.
Yeah,
Jesus, I forgot how awful this conversation was. Here, let's back this up real quick. Nexus of Midnight, thank you for the gifted tier 1 sub.
You know, honestly, I'd have to think about it. In the same way.
So I'll even throw in some kosher food for you that we all know. And we were just an anniversary party. We're just having a party, and I'll even throw in some kosher food for you to make sure you don't have to bring your own food.
You know, honestly,
Dave Rubin's like, okay, but would you come to my party? Would you come to my party, Ben Shapiro? Ben Shapiro's like, no, you're fucking degenerate. I would never come to one of your parties.
I'd have to think about it. In the same way.
So that's interesting.
I miss
Michael. That's a different thing.
He was so good.
Well, not really, because again, if you're a religious person, and again, take it from the religious perspective. From the religious perspective, the question is, are you glorifying something that you think is sinful?
Wait, but there are other religions that don't discriminate against gay people, Ben. So what religious perspective are you talking about here? You know?
Yeah.
So if it's a party for something that you think was originally sinful, can you participate in that? So from a religious...
Sin isn't even a concept for all religions. So, you know, you need to be a little bit more specific here, Ben.
Point of view, that's an actual serious moral question.
Yeah.
Would I go out to dinner with you? The answer is yes, right? Because that's not actually like, let's celebrate something that I feel that you're doing is sinful. But I'd have to think about that one. And I'm being perfectly honest, like, I'm trying to be as straightforward as possible on this.
I want you to. So that's so interesting to me, because it's like, if I threw a regular party, we were just having a party at my house, and all the guys,
that's right, for a gay wedding cake also, right?
Like,
I'd bake you a cake that had nothing to do with a gay wedding.
Right.
And I would go to a party with you that has nothing to do with gay marriage.
Would you?
Okay, Pixar didn't happen, Ben. Bake Dave Rubin a fucking cake. It's been several years, Ben. It's been several years. Where is Dave Rubin's non-anniversary cake? Okay? Come on, these are easy brownie points for you to win.
Me a regular cake? Could I just have a Thursday cake?
Yeah, sure, I'd give you a cake. Why the hell not? I mean, my baking sucks. I'll just buy you one.
I want a shittily baked Shapiro cake, and then I'm going to write. Then once I get it here, I can do whatever I want with it.
Piece of crap. I mean, it's not going to be good, but it'll be there. All right, let's.
Don't you slander fucking Betty Crocker, you monster.
See,
there's a lot there. You know what? But this is what we'll keep talking about forever, and it's all right.
Exactly.
America's gay treasure. I don't know if Betty Crocker is gay, but I like to imagine that like most of the women on packaging are gay or trans, because you can't prove otherwise. You can't prove otherwise. Yeah, he needs some cake now. Okay, so let's see here. So I saw someone, I think it was not Nexus of Midnight, it was Mirror Knight, asking just kind of like what started all of this. Well, we're getting to what started it, right? We kind of touched on it, and it is that Dave Rubin announced that he is having 2 kids. You know, 2 kids are going to be born, and they're going to be his husband, and he's, pretend that's grammatically correct, kids, okay? And this all started with just the slow mental decline of Dave Rubin. Though, is it really a mental decline if there was never any, like, amount of height there to begin with? Who knows? Let's see here. So, yeah, no, basically we're covering his descent into madness and cuckoldry, okay? Not the moral decline, just the decline of his highest level ideas, we'll say. So we had the this video, okay? And now we have, and if anyone can actually find me the full clip of this conversation, I would be very, 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 very grateful, okay? Dave Rubin went on Glenn Beck's show to have an in-depth conversation about the fact that he and his husband are having babies. Okay? And Glenn Beck tweeted out this clip. Tonight I have a hard and honest conversation with my friend and fellow Blaze TV host, Dave Rubin, about his decision to have kids through surrogacy. He tells me, I get why the right has these often legitimate fears, but that can't stop us from having respectful discussions about how Glenn Beck doesn't think Dave Rubin should have kids because he's gay. So let's watch this, and then I'll take a look at the Sam Cedar clip.
I get why the right has these, what I would argue are often legitimate fears, because the left does not stop eating civilization.
Correct.
Okay. I haven't actually watched this clip. The left, so the right has legitimate fears about gay men having children because in Dave Rubin's words, the left cannibalizes civilization. Notice how Dave doesn't go into specifics. How is allowing gay people to adopt cannibalizing civilization? That makes the conservative fears about gay people having kids legitimate. You know, that's my question. Because Dave Rubin is essentially saying here that there is a legitimacy to fear-mongering about gay people having access to kids. And usually conservatives are against this for one of two reasons. One, they think that the sinful and degenerate behavior of gay people will inevitably lead to child abuse, child sexual abuse, often. And the other reason is that they believe that gay parents having kids is going to lead to more gay people, which isn't true. It's not like gay parents are sitting down with their kids and going like, well, Timmy, it's time for your daily gay indoctrination class. Sorry, that's not what gay parents do. That's what conservative parents do when they homeschool, okay? That is legitimately what conservative parents do with homeschooling when they buy, like, their creationist textbooks, okay? Yeah, Poggers, where can I send my kids to gay indoctrination class? Heard you have COVID, hope you're doing okay. Rundo, I have a large fever, and it's making it hard to read chat as I go along. Yeah, let's read this really gay book. And, like, when gay parents teach the gay indoctrination course, you know, they show a little boy like a anatomical representation of a dick, and then an anatomical recreation of like a vagina, and they're like, okay, little Timmy, you don't want the vagina, you want the dick. Like that's literally what conservatives think that gay parents do with their kids. Like, quite literally. If you have a Blaze TV, okay, I am not paying $15 goddamn a month to watch Blaze TV. Literally, you subscribe for the same cost as Netflix to the Blaze TV. It is so fucking gross. They do not have enough content to actually justify that cost. It's wild. The conservative grift never ends, okay? Pro tip for any conservative parents out there, just get HBO Max. You get a lot of really cool movies, you get some animated content. It's just a much better deal for you than like 5 shows that mostly upload all of their content to YouTube anyway. $50 dono or more and Jack does it. Yo, no. Because I'm gonna forget that I subscribed to Blaze TV, and it's gonna go over and start rolling over into multiple months, okay? Oh no, it's me, Natalie Marie. It's not a paywall over articles. It's their own goddamn streaming service. Blaze TV has their own version of Netflix, and it's about as shitty as you'd imagine it is. Yeah, HBO Max is the most bang for your buck, okay? And if you ever want to change it up, Netflix is always a decent go-to as well. All right. Anyway, we're only 9 seconds into this video. Let's see what else it has in store for us.
Correct.
And think about what an unfortunate position that puts us in, because then someone like me can make an announcement like this, then good, decent, thoughtful conservatives, some of faith, maybe some not of faith, whatever it is.
Dave.
Much of definition of
This is horrifying. Buying women's eggs and then renting other women's wombs to grow their children, who will be deprived of their mothers and instead forced to be raised by two gay men as theirs. Any Christian or conservative congratulating them is just as bad as the Marxists. That's Mark Dice, prominent conservative. Here's Milo Yiannopoulos, a good Christian man of faith. Disgusting. They should both be executed. Yeah, that's a real difference of opinion. Yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos, a good God-fearing Christian man who definitely is not gay anymore. They all have really good points. They have really good points, Dave.
Could reach out and say, boy, this is what an interesting opportunity, and sure, it's a little different, and whatever, all the love that you and the Blaze guys and everyone else are giving me. And then there's this other part that's legit, which is, if we move the line, they're going to keep going. And I don't know what the answer to that is.
Dave.
I honestly don't, because that has nothing to do with me and how I'm going to live my life.
Yeah, Dave Rubin is the ultimate fuck you, got mine, you know? But we have to understand people are people. Some gay parents will be intolerant when it comes to their child's heterosexual choice. Well, I don't think it's necessarily a choice as to whether or not you're heterosexual or homosexual. Let's see.
I think, and this is why I wanted to have you on, because
And sorry, I'm also against bigotry when it comes from children.
I don't have an answer.
Or
I am,
parents.
you know me, I'm a deeply religious man, and my religion says man and a woman, that is the basic building block of family. We're probably the clearest church on this, because it's been in our doctrine for 200 years. So
Glenn Beck, what church is this?
So we're very clear on that. But that's marriage and relationships. And that's what I believe. But I also...
Yeah, I don't know. Glenn Beck changes his aesthetic like once every 2 months. Right now, he's embracing the Steve Bannon, like, kind of fashy military garb shit.
I also know God created you just like he created me, flaws and all. I believe I have a gene, they've never found it, that makes me very susceptible to alcoholism because it runs in my family. So does craziness, but it runs in my family.
I mean, Caranola, the only aspect in which I think like there's an argument to be made that sexuality is a choice is like if somebody's bisexual or like pansexual, and like are presented with two very different options, and it's like, well, who am I more attracted to? That can definitely come down to a personal preference type thing. But I don't think like you being bi or pan or gay or straight is necessarily a choice.
The same thing with things that I don't understand. And
what do I think of J.K. Rowling? Transphobe. Pretty weird that she wrote an entire book where all of the arguments against an entire book series where all of the arguments that were pro-slavery were just true, and then never questioned that throughout the series, and left the practice of slavery in place at the end of it.
We can't have a conversation about things that we don't necessarily understand and probably won't until we get to the other side. We have to just work it out together and be able to say, Dave, I disagree, or I don't know what the answer is, but I love you.
Aw. Well, isn't that special? Look, I disagree with you, but I love you. And also, I'm going to condone all of the hateful conservative rhetoric against you, because it's literally what we push at the Blaze TV. Yeah. Here's another show on the Blaze, posted the same day.
Let's take a fun little walk down a curvy lane, folks, and check out Chasen Buttigieg, husband of former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg, in a clip that you're just gonna love. Chris, roll that clip.
All right. I pledge my heart. To the rainbow. Of the not so typical gay camp. One camp. Full of pride. Indivisible. With affirmation and equal rights for all. Watch your heads.
Okay. Now.
So again, they're at a gay camp. You know, like a camp where you can send like gay kids to like have fun in like a supportive camp environment that is pro LGBTQ. Oh, there is something wrong with it, bread into toast.
Before we dissect this particular incident with our blunt little rhetorical tools, let's talk for a moment about...
Yeah, this guy named Chad has really incisive rhetorical tools.
Allegiance, a word that literally deals with you and those with whom you choose to form an alliance. In this country, ever since about the end of World War II, we've had a pledge of allegiance to our flag, the iconographic representation of the United States of America and everything she has historically stood for. We've said it at events and in our schools. We've added, and in some cases removed, the words "under God" to and from it, and fought over the same way we fight over just about everything else. If you're like any other red-blooded American, you've probably mumbled it a million times under your breath as you desperately tried to wake up and face your academic day.
Well, wait. You also had the option to not say it. It's not constitutional to force people to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Literally, it is literally against the Constitution of the United States for the government to force kids to say any goddamn thing.
Stumbling.
And also worth noting, it's literally not been a thing for most of America's history.
Over it, and
this guy is Chad from the Blaze TV. So this is the pro-gay colleagues that Dave Rubin is talking about.
Some cases completely mangling the words, but have you ever really thought about it? About what you're doing when you say it. You see, it's not just meant to be a jingoistic ritual to get the heart pounding and the blood pumping and the eyes watering, although it can definitely do all three of those things.
Wait, that seems like a bad thing? Like, does this guy not know what jingoism is? Like, jingoism, yeah, let me just check. Jingoism is extreme patriotism, especially in the form of aggressive or warlike foreign policy. Sorry, you want our kids to be aggressive and to pursue foreign wars? You think that's a good thing?
It's also an act, in a way, of consecrating one's mind and body to the task of upholding America's central raison d'etre for reason for existence, a reason for existence, to exercise and maintain the cause of liberty. The words you say are words of commitment.
Jingoism isn't specific to America and has nothing to do with liberty. It's just nationalistic, imperialist fervor.
to a cause. To put it another way, a commitment we should all take really seriously, given how perilously close we sometimes come to losing that liberty. Now that we've established a framework, let's see how the pledge you just saw fits on it. First and foremost, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that the gay camp in question is a school-sponsored event. Cue the part of the show where I tell you that you need to get your kids out of public schools because they're nothing more than indoctrination centers.
Wait, but schools are mandated to have equal funding for a wide variety of different groups and camps. These aren't like you only have the option to go to gay camp if you're in that public school. That's not how that works.
Trying to pump out a new generation of dyed-in-the-wool card-carrying leftists, and you don't want your kids having any part of it. And I know that some people might push back and ask, what about other clubs and camps sponsored by schools that teach things not every parent agrees with? Okay, on the surface...
I went to... I was lucky enough to live on, like, the edge of a district where, like, the Minnesota Vikings send their kids to public school. So, like, it was ridiculously well-funded.
It's a fair point. Like, for instance, the FCA, or Fellowship of Christian Athletes, would be a prime example that comes to mind. Well, explaining the difference between the two situations would take a whole hour, but let me see if I can sum it up. John Adams once stated that the new country they were forming would only work for a moral and religious people. Now, if you think the separation of church and state is about keeping God out of schools...
Yeah, but John Adams wasn't the only person who forged the United States. There were numerous people who had different ideas of what the country could or should be. The appeals to, like, individual founding fathers always bother me because they're not good arguments. They're just saying, like, well, this guy that we all agree is pretty smart, like, he said this thing, so obviously we should all agree with it.
I suggest you go back and read what's written about it because it's not that. In other words, this sort of thing was baked into the cake from the very beginning. If you're along for the ride with me in understanding that a gay camp doesn't fall under the same distribution of basic American ideological preconceptions, then we have enough common...
It doesn't have to. That's part of what's amazing about America, you know? We don't have to ideologically align with the country. That's part of what makes this country amazing. It's part of what makes this country great. Like, John Adams defended the Boston Massacre, yeah.
Ground to understand that this sort of thing is just another...
As the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. Damn, that's part of the real quote. Wow, it seems really disingenuous that he left that out.
Wing of the leftist machine doing its best to raise up a new set of useful widgets. Now, finally, let's circle back to that whole allegiance thing. If you're gay and you're pledging your heart to the rainbow, let me give out a warning, and please believe me that this comes from a place of love.
I'm prepared to hear something that is definitively not coming from a place of love.
You're pledging allegiance to an ideology that doesn't actually care about you. Now, I'm not saying other gay people. I'm saying the ideological framework that's got its hand up the puppet of your so-called marginalized group.
You know, it is always really funny how conservatives, like, just can't stop, like, fantasizing about gay sex. You know, like, he's like, midway through that, he's like, look, all God-fearing Americans want to be fisted up the ass.
Group status, it's not there because it cares about you. Don't give in and allow yourself to be a tool. Pledge your allegiance to something that pledges its allegiance back.
America has historically not pledged allegiance to gay people. It's kind of why we have gay camps, to support queer people. Why'd he stop? Wait.
If you enjoyed this video...
Oh my god, that was it! Additionally, one of my favorite conservatives, you know, and I use favorite in a very loose sense here, but favorite in the sense that, like, we was filming your empty podium. Favorite in the sense that she is just openly hateful. Like, she is just open about how much she hates queer people, you know? And I think that this is fundamentally way more indicative of how most people in America, most conservatives, dedicated conservatives in America, think about queer folk. Caitlin Bennett, no. She's a failed conservative politician, and she hosts a show called Crosstalk. Did you take your horse paste? No. I can't afford horse paste. What do I look like? An Egyptian pharaoh? No. I know who Caitlin Bennett is. It's Lauren Witzke, everyone's favorite open neo-Nazi.
There's been a good little litmus test this past week. Okay, if you want to see if your favorite conservative icon is one of us, is really America First, is really a Christian, just see what they said about that pedophile couple that are trafficking kids. What's her name?
Yeah, this is gonna be some vile, hateful shit, by the way. Yo, what? Yeah, no, this segment is insane. Yeah, no, the conservatives in America believe this shit. It's just not acceptable to broadcast on mainstream television, which is why things like Crosstalk that set themselves up to be good, God-fearing online programs exist. But, you know, we're not done yet.
Me again?
Are you talking about Dave Rubin?
Oh, Dave Rubin. That's it. Yeah,
Rubin.
Dave Rubin. Yeah. Coming soon, baby one. Where did they steal this kid from? That's two men.
Well,
two men are gay.
Yeah,
they can't have kids.
It's got to pop out first, and then that's when they snatch him.
Oh, that's when they steal him.
Yeah,
okay.
That's when they steal him.
These people, anti-abortion, also anti-adoption.
But that's like plotting a crime right there. So somebody should probably do something about that.
Sheriff Opile? Should we call Sheriff Opile? Someone needs to deal with this.
We should call somebody because I have a kidnapping in process. You know.
Seriously, look.
In progress, Lauren. It's called In Progress. Also, you know, love the subtle, or rather not so subtle implication that they need to be shot by law enforcement.
Look, what is he crying for? Is he crying because he got away with it almost? Look at this. These two men who cannot reproduce, the only thing they can reproduce and create is more debauchery and AIDS.
Oh my god. I was going to pause it after debauchery. Number one, straight people can get AIDS. I don't know who needs to know this, but you can definitely get AIDS as a straight person. That is a thing that happens. This information was literally outdated like 40 goddamn years ago. Is this guy on YouTube? Who knows? Also, I love that conservatives, even under like, you know, the most hostile conditions, are like, yeah, the only thing these two men can produce is like a lot of orgasms. Like, the only thing these two men can do is have really, really good sex. Like, yeah, I mean, how disgusting is that? Just like, God. Again, it always comes back to that with conservatives. They're honestly, I'm gonna be 100% real with you guys. I feel like 90% of conservative hatred, specifically when it comes to like cis men conservatives, 90% of it is that like they grew up learning that the prostate is like an orgasm button, and they just are too homophobic to try and reach it, you know? Yeah, plenty of cis het couples can't reproduce either. Yeah, but you know what they mean. You know what they mean here. It's not the actual issue of reproduction. It's the issue of, well, our book says that they're bad. So, and we've never thought to question that. So, yeah. Yeah, honestly, like, conservatives obsess more about LGBTQ sex lives than like queer people do. You know, queer people obsess, like, for example, lesbians. You know, they obsess over like going to a cute lesbian bar, you know, And then they all just stare at each other from across the room and never make the first move. I mean, that's, and then they worry about that woman's been staring at me for the last 45 minutes. Should I go and talk to her, or is this just a friendship stare? That's what lesbians think about the most, okay? Oh, that's true, Mithril Mist. Conservatives don't believe real straight people can get AIDS. They think that anyone who has AIDS is secretly gay. That's true.
Again, they can spread AIDS. There's been a good little...
And then they can spread AIDS. And that's why I don't go out with my lesbian friends. Look, I've been to lesbian hangouts. I've been to the lesbian bars. I know how you all are, okay? The secret gays. Got to be on the lookout for them. We need some kind of, I don't know, like a secret police force to root out the gays. We can call them the, I don't know, the Gestapo or something. That makes sense. Not based on anything TM CR. This is why I always carry a knife. Honestly, not the worst idea to always carry a knife if you're a gay person. Not the worst idea. Let's see here. Had a lesbian on Insta ask me if I was into women, and I asked to make sure she read my bio and knew I was trans, and she replied, "Yeah, I know you were a transgender." What the fuck does that mean? You were a transgender.
News, I'm Edward Zoll, and this is the senator in exile from Delaware, Lauren Witzke. You may have seen her from recent fame. She supports arranged marriages. Well, we're not going to go into that today.
What the fuck? Wait, what? Oh my god. These people are fucking wild, dude. I missed that. Oh, she's gone on record as supporting arranged marriages for Christians. Oh my god.
But we are going to give you the most important...
This might be my new favorite conservative show. Dave Rubin starts about 22 minutes in. Okay, let's go.
Stories out of this Russia-Ukrainian...
I do want to hear them give like an overview of what's going on here.
War, where the great Tsar is waging war against the great Satan, the West. We're also going to talk about who's backing the real Nazis, the Azov Battalion. Kolomoisky is his name.
Jesus Christ. Even conservatives can't stop talking about the Azov Battalion. And to be clear, guys, the Azov Battalion is bad. But also, y'all know we had neo-Nazis fighting for America, right? Like, just statistically, that is very, very true in our armed forces. And was even more true in World War II, Yeah, Jellyfish, I have COVID. Hey, Felicity. Yeah, basically, Ukraine is all Nazis. Amazing.
And corruption is his game. And in the transition, we're going to talk about the sex traffickers. And I'm talking about the homosexuals.
Oh god. Yeah, no, the US Army that defeated the Nazis was racially segregated. True. The US is a big country though. Yeah, my only point, Fan, is that the Azov Battalion is like anywhere from 600 to 1,000 fighters in the Ukrainian military, and Ukraine's military is in the 200s of thousands. So like it's a roughly equivalent comparison in my mind. Anyway, yeah, the homosexuals are the real sex traffickers. Let's get to the good bit here.
Sucking demons, okay?
Yeah.
Literally any part of this is amazing. Sucking demons. Okay, what? We need to back up a little bit.
The agents of the devil, and they're standing against the Antichrist. Putin, Patriarch Kirill, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, this man has said that if we continue this descent into debauchery, Jesus Christ is going to have to come back because the entire world's getting conquered.
Then you should want that, motherfucker. Hell yeah, let's gay up more of the world so Jesus comes back. Fuck yeah.
And the minds of the children are getting conquered by pedophiles, literal soul-sucking demons, okay?
Yeah.
Now, on the subject of soul...
Man, I want someone to songify this so badly. Literal pedophile soul-sucking demons.
Sucking demons. The conservative movement has obviously already made its peace with homosexuals. I don't know what the conservative movement of the Republican Party is anymore, Lauren, because they seem to be pro everything that I don't stand with. They seem to be, they don't want to deal with the border, but they definitely want to set up gay camps for other conservatives. I think it's what CPAC's called. That's a gay camp.
What? What the fuck? What bizarro world have they traveled from? CPAC is called gay camp now? What? What the fuck?
Gay camp?
Gay camp, yeah.
Gay camp.
Yeah, you show up with your pink
If you're
flag
not gay already, they'll make you gay
They
when
will.
you get there.
And look, there's been a good little litmus test this past week. Okay, if you want to see if your favorite conservative icon...
Yeah, CPAC is too left-wing for these Nazis, okay? That's why they support AFPAC, you know, which is the literal Nazi convention.
Is one of us. He's really America first. He's really a Christian. Just see what they said about that pedophile couple that are trafficking kids. What's her name again?
Are you talking about Dave Rubin?
Oh, Dave Rubin. That's it. Yeah, Dave Rubin. Yeah. Coming soon, baby.
Yeah, this absolutely needs to be added to the rotation. Paladin Lost. My mod team remind me to cover crosstalk more often because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think this is more indicative of where conservatives are going than not. You know, I think that the conservative movement is moving in this direction, and we should be paying attention to it.
Where did they steal this kid from? That's two men.
Well,
two men are gay.
Yeah,
they can't have
they're
kids.
waiting.
Two
It's gotta
men are
pop
gay.
out first, and then that's when they snap.
Oh God, please songify this. Two men are gay.
Oh, that's when they steal it.
Yeah, that's when they steal it. But that's like plotting a crime right there. So somebody should probably do something about it.
Nah, Lauren. It's literally just adopting. You make. There are tons of straight people who have surrogate births because one or the other of them can't get pregnant. Like it's not like the gays are sneaking into orphanages here.
Out that.
Sheriff Opile? Should we call Sheriff Opile? Someone needs to deal with this.
We should call somebody because I have a kidnapping in process. You know.
Seriously, look. What is he crying for? Is he crying because he got away with it almost? Look at this. These two men who cannot reproduce. The only thing they can reproduce and create is more debauchery and AIDS. They can
more
spread
dope
AIDS. But this is the thing
orgasms.
here. These two are becoming parents. They're starting a family. But where is the woman? Where is
the mother? That's not a family. That's a perversion.
Is this what the new
Wait, she's a surrogate. Like it's not that complicated. Straight people do this all the time.
Conservative Party looks like? I know Rick Grinnell, right? Rick Grinnell wanted this. This is
two men are
This
gay.
is the peak transformation, the final form of Rick Grinnell's Republican Party.
Yep, it's true. You know, I'm pretty sure they rented a womb for that. It looks like they're having twins.
It's called surrogacy.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not really sure, but I know.
Damn, I love that you guys put together a show and you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
But that is not conservative. That is not what I would consider conservative by any means. However, you know, we have all of Con Inc., PragerU, everybody cheering on this perversion of family. Did you know America is #1 in the globe in single parenthood? You know, we have a serious problem with the nuclear family, and now the conservative movement that is supposed to stand up. We used to be the party of families. We were the party of the nuclear family.
Damn, maybe pressuring people to get into marriages that they don't actually want or are unhealthy is a bad policy. Who knows?
The GOP was established because Mormonism. They added it to their platform because Mormons were marrying multiple women. No, the GOP back in the day stood up and said no. Marriage is between one man and one woman, and that.
Wait, historically that's incorrect. The Bible has numerous instances of its holiest people getting married to like several dozen people. Like, this is just an incorrect reading of the Bible.
That used to be what we stand for. However, you've seen a giant shift where we are placating now 3% of the population that happens to commit 40% of the pedophilia.
Can I get like a reference on that? Can I get like a Can I get a fucking source? Also, most child sexual abuse happens from straight people. It happens from family members. That is where the vast majority of child sexual abuse comes from. Do you really think these two read anything? I feel like if they turned all the way around, there would be like little drill holes in the back of their heads.
It's that high.
It's that high.
That makes
40%
sense, actually.
of the pedophilia nationally is committed by 3% of the population, which is the LGBTQ population. They don't want to tell you this. You know, they shouldn't even be around kids. However,
you know what? Let's Google this real quick. 40% of child sexual abuse from gays. Let's see. Oh, interesting. This is a study from 1994. Are children at risk for sexual abuse by homosexuals? Conclusion. The children in the group studied were unlikely to have been molested by identifiably gay or lesbian people. Abuse was ruled out in 35 of the cases. 74 children were allegedly abused by other children and teenagers less than 18 years old. In 9 cases, an offender could not be identified. In the remaining 269 cases, 2 offenders were identified as being gay or lesbian. In 82% of cases, 222 out of 269, the alleged offender was a heterosexual partner or a close relative of the child. I wonder if we have even more modern data. But I think it's somewhat telling that this study found that 82% of the sexual abuse came from heterosexuals. Interesting. I think that was called XO1 Twitch fall. Anyway.
You know, that is what it is. And these are facts. Sorry.
Are they? Can you cite a source on your news show?
Sorry if it offends you. As Ben Shapiro says, facts don't care about your feelings.
Well, look, if they're abusing kids and they have a propensity
yes.
to abuse kids.
They have a track record of it.
Why don't we just like start arresting them?
True, we should arrest all the heterosexuals since they are statistically more likely to abuse children. I agree. Let the heterosexual purge begin.
You know, put restraining orders on them.
If I was in charge, I'd start arresting them.
Well,
I think that we should establish those laws where they're not allowed near the...
Damn, good thing you've lost your fucking race to get any kind of political power, Lauren Witzke.
The playgrounds.
Yeah, exclusionary zones. You know, they just can't live in cities anymore. We're going to have to create leper colonies for homos. I think that's maybe what we might...
I think what you are describing here, Crosstalk, is... death camps? I think you're describing concentration camps for gay people. I think that is 100% what you are advocating for openly on your news program. Yeah, look, again, this is mainstream conservatism now. I'm sorry, that's what this is. Like, whenever anyone asks me, can you be friends with a conservative? My answer is like, fucking no. Like, the vast majority of conservatives believe the most heinous things. Or... if they aren't willing to admit to them on the surface, they adopt economic policy that supports the most heinous things. You know, so they don't have to be called racist, but they adopt policies that would defund black neighborhoods, defund black schools, etc. That would keep the Browns out of their neighborhoods. Unlucky 13-1, I do have COVID.
Might have to do. On a serious note, watching the response to Dave Rubin's announcement, you know, what we have seen is that places like PragerU, a guy like Mike Cernovich, I was so sad seeing the Mike Cernovich tweet. I thought that guy I thought he was being lured closer to the faith. I thought he was maybe becoming a Christian. I see him come out, and the one thing I will agree, though, Mike Cernovich came out and said, hey, look, all you people attacking people like Dave Rubin and other stuff like that, you know, you're hypocrites. I'll agree with him on one point. He said that all the Christians I see criticizing Dave Rubin and his partner and them having this child, adopting a child, taking this child. Well, they're just obsessed with sports. And what's up with all these Christians who want to stand on different things in the Bible? He says something wrong. He's like, oh, Jesus never came out against same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, no,
Wait, that's true. Jesus never said anything about same-sex marriage.
That was a lie.
That's a lie. But the part he does say, and you should think of.
Wait, there is no quote in the Bible where Jesus is like, same-sex marriage is bad. Like, he doesn't look into the camera and say, homos go homo, you know?
About this, brothers and sisters. Like, you should be more obsessed with Christ than you are with sports. I am a big fan of competition, though, and I think obviously it was a cope what Senator has tweeted. But other than that, I've seen a lot of simping. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, wow, this is wonderful. This is great. Oh, this is like my family.
Yeah, also, Jesus hung out with prostitutes, and I just want to point this out. Historically, prostitution is engaged in by both men and women. Like, both those groups engage in prostitution. So it's highly likely that in his numerous years of hanging out with prostitutes, Jesus was hanging out with the queers of society, okay? That's how the sex industry works, okay? World's oldest profession over here. You think Bussy wasn't getting railed back in the day? Definitely was.
Family. You're actually finding out about how many people are part of the problem. The Daily Wire crowd, Fox News hosts. Look, everyone on Fox News, if they're not having sex with guys, having same-sex marriage, couple, orgies, whatever those debaucherous idiots get up to, they're having sex with each other, they're breaking up marriage.
I want this man to teach a sex ed class. I want to see this man attempt to explain how sex works. Because from what he's saying here, I cannot believe that any woman he has ever been with has been satisfied in the least.
Just look, Jesse Waters, Sean Hannity, people don't know this. Sean Hannity left his wife for the woman on Fox and Friends.
We have a serious,
Jesse Waters.
We have a serious divorce problem on the right, too.
Well, they're the representative of the conservative movement, right?
Yeah. Like.
Oh, man. Please start a war within conservatism about whether or not it's okay to divorce your wife.
Everybody, we have a lot of issues with families on the right. We need to fix ourselves before we try to fix anything else. How do you expect Congress or our right-wing leaders to fix the issue of single parent?
Also, I love that they couldn't afford more than one camera. They just have one camera. They can't do like shot reverse shot, which is very funny to me.
Broken families, gay marriage, all this stuff, because they're all participants in it. We have to fix ourselves at home, it really seems like. And I'm like starting to question, I'm like, okay, so we had Match Slap last week praising a transgender.
Yeah, the swimmer.
Yeah, exactly. And we had Dave Rubin, Steve.
By the way, I'm waiting for this woman to become a mass shooter. That I feel like that is the logical next step for her.
Stealing kids from somebody else's womb, I don't know. If I could speak to the mother of the baby, the one who's carrying those babies, don't do it.
Yeah, keep the kid.
Wait, sorry, she signed a contract. Surrogacy is something that is legally binding and has been around for a very long time.
Don't
keep the kid. Save that kid from a life of shame.
Yeah, don't do it to your kids. If you care about your kids in the future, do not let them be raised in a household with two dads, because that kid is going to turn out. We don't even know how he's going to turn out.
Damn, what a compelling argument. If a kid is raised by two dads, we don't know how they're gonna turn out. Well, we have a general idea, which is that gay kids raised by gay parents turn out just fine. That is what all of the data shows us about gay children or children raised by gays. Okay. The idea that... Oh, God. Why can't she just say what she's thinking? I mean, she usually does. I mean, earlier she was talking about arresting the gays, and her co-host talked about putting gays in concentration camps. So, I mean, they're basically saying what they mean. Yeah, again, you would think on a news show they would ostensibly do some research. Like, I mean, chat, I don't do a ton of research for my show, but I do basic Google searches, so I know what I'm talking about. And somehow I feel like I am... the wrinkles in my brain are just cavernous. They hold entire universes within them, and these people are just, like, eating paste and huffing glue.
Well, this crazy homosexual
be
elite that keeps pushing this on us, it's their focus.
disturbing.
The thing they're pushing right now is they want war. This is the same group, doing this. They're trying to find this position where it's okay for us to start a war with Russia.
What?
Look, this group of reprobate homosexuals.
What? Homosexuals aren't pushing for a war with Russia. What? Okay.
They're happy to see the economy crash. This today, we averted a global economic crisis because the West was trying to stop Russia from paying its debts. All right? This group, if they have their way, they will declare war and nuke places like China and Russia. Look, I don't...
What? Again, how is this gay people? I mean, I guess it's the liberal media and all liberals are gay to these people. Yeah, no, like, again, if Russia does default on its debt, that would be pretty catastrophic for Russia and probably end the war in Russia. That would be largely a good thing.
Know if Russia and China are our biggest threat. I certainly know that Russia spilt blood to protect us during the Civil War. You should look into that. That's the truth. They sent their fleets to protect the harbors in San Francisco and New York. That's a fact. China, there's stuff to debate on this, but I think we certainly can find a trade relation with China.
And then we invaded Russia. Like we invaded Russia in like 1910 or something.
If we can trade with countries like Ukraine, giving them free weapons, we can do that. I'm sure we can find a trade alliance with China, okay? But the point here is we're run by homosexual elite, while places like China and Russia are discouraging homosexuality,
Yeah, they're not doing a very good job because there are still gay people in Russia, and there are still, I guarantee you, out of the billions of people who live in China, there are still a significant number of queer people in China.
Discouraging
and encouraging
degeneracy.
Strong men, strong families, doing everything they can to build strong families within their country.
Yeah, Russia building strong families, getting its ass kicked by the transgender gay soldiers in Ukraine.
Family is the foundation of every nation.
Yes, that's right.
It is. And if your foundation is shaky or it's disintegrating like ours is, you're going to have problems. That's why you're watching countries like China and Russia. They're trying to rebuild their families, to strengthen families. Hungary, same way. You know, they literally passed a...
China doesn't need to strengthen its family unit. They have 2 billion people. They're fine. What is the argument here, that China read the Bible and like recognizes that a strong nuclear family is really important for religious reasons, and so they are forcing that on citizens? Because that's not what's going on in China, folks.
Legislative bill 4 years ago to increase birth rates. They make it as easy as possible for young couples to get married and have children. They buy them vans. They give them the opportunity.
Give you a car? Oh, that's
They give them
wonderful.
vans. Yeah, they're giving them minivans, soccer mom vans.
Fuck yeah. Let's do the same in America. Let's give every married couple a minivan. I agree. This is a great policy.
Literally saying, giving them this, here's land, here's a house, here's a...
Okay, I don't think that China is giving people land, minivans, and income.
Subsidized loan, you have 3 kids, you don't have to pay it back. They're making it as easy as possible to rebuild families.
Source?
Within their nations, while we're doing everything to disintegrate it and destroy it. And it's so frustrating because I'm watching my country fall apart. I'm watching families fall apart. I'm watching as I'm getting attacked for calling out Dave Rubin for having, you know, for renting a womb. And it's like, I feel like, you know, I never changed. My opinions never changed. I grew up believing this way, and it's just the world around me and society has changed, and I'm supposed to change with it, and people are getting mad at me because I didn't change with it. However, I'm normal.
Yeah, the times left you behind, dipshit.
I'm the normal one. That is...
No, you're not. You are quantifiably insane.
It's not natural. That is not normal. Sorry.
You are the normal one,
Granted.
and they are definitely the abnormal. They are the, I'd say, the blip in history, because honestly, Lauren, I don't know how much longer a country or an empire can last living this way.
No.
At a base...
Oh, by the way, in case you had any doubts, there is no reporting of China giving families minivans. Holy shit. They just make this shit up, guys. They just make this shit up. Did we drop frames? Why are they making China sound so based? Well, because they simp for authoritarianism. That's why. Why is China giving their people minivans a bad thing? It's not, but China is also not giving people minivans. So that's just like another thing that she made up. Like 40% of like child sexual abuse is done by the homosexuals. So you're saying we don't get minivans. Now I just don't know what to believe. Look, I think if America wants to be great again, we need to give minivans not just to every marriage, okay? We need to give minivans to every man, woman, and child in America, all right? When you turn 15, you get a minivan, okay? You hit the open road. It's like they lie and get money. I know, right? I'm the one burdened by having to do research. You know, I wish I could just get up here and say dumb shit and have you give me money. What about public transit? I mean, that'd be good. Public transit, better. I'm starting to worry that Lauren Witzke might be an untrustable loser jerk or something. Yeah. Give me minivans or give me death. The Second American Revolution.
Level, if we're not having kids, we're not actually producing families, we're not producing strong men, we're going to start losing wars. Oh wait, what was that? Afghanistan happened in Afghanistan? The war that should never have begun to begin with.
What about Vietnam? What about a lot of the other wars we have not done so hot on?
Our economy's in shambles. Our leadership are a bunch of degenerate old pigs. Okay, they don't have
True. We need more progressives in charge.
Having sex with each other like Pete Buttigieg and his partner, whatever that is.
Whatever that is, they're just gay. That's what it is. Pete Buttigieg is a gay man who has sex with another man. That's all it is.
You got Sleepy Joe falling asleep at the podium. All right,
who knows what could happen to Sleepy Joe while he's asleep up there? All right. Look, we're not saying Sleepy Joe is not. We're not saying he's gay or nothing, but I don't know, falling asleep like this, pretty sussy.
Point here is we have the leadership that represents the America we've become. It's a rotten apple. I don't want this, and I thank God we're citizens of the kingdom first. Christ is our king. But I'll tell you, there's going to be other kings that pop up in this age. We pray that they would find the examples of what not to do by looking at this.
Wait, why are you simping for monarchy, bro? Why are you simping for monarchy here?
Dustbin of history. But we're here in America right now, and I'll tell you that the solution I think we found is what we're doing. We're building coalitions. We're pursuing a rebirth of our faith, and we're also pursuing a purification of our families, our circles, our ecosystem. What's happened on the
We're seeking a purification. I think we know what he means by that, folks. And I think his conservative viewers also know what he means by that. A purification of families, of neighborhoods, of the country.
Right has been very interesting, Lauren, because there has been a hard line endorsement.
Yeah, should we check Umberto Eco's list real quick? I mean, you all can. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to save you some time. This is fascism, folks.
Among the true Americans, that we're not going to live like Pete Buttigieg and Dave Rubin anymore. We're not going to seek the blood of others to satisfy our Lord in this country, Baal. I mean, this country, you don't see Christ as king. This country sees the devil as the king.
The devil isn't real. It's not real even within Christianity. Stop pretending that you're a Christian when you think the devil's real, okay? You're engaging in fan fiction. Even by like Christian texts, the devil isn't real. Isn't he a little brand to be saying this? You know, he's one of the good ones until he stops being one of the good ones, okay?
We're not going to do these things, though. The right has solidified around the America First movement, around a Christian coalition, and we've said it's all or nothing. This country has to turn back to the Lord, fix our wicked ways, stop giving children to reprobates, or this country's gone.
Yeah, repent.
And it's all or nothing.
Repent. The end is near.
Amen. That's scripture. Okay. Well, Lauren, this has been an action-packed episode. I think we've got about half an hour. It's great to have you back.
I know, it's good to be back.
I had Jillian here. She's great too. Todd, but you can't replace the OG. You can't, okay?
I mean, repent for the kingdom of heaven is near is literally a quote from like 2,000 years ago. So I don't know, how near are we talking? Is the end of the world not coming for another 2,000 years, Lauren? If so, I think we can take some time to be decent to each other.